Hi, my name's Rossi. I got put in a mental home. I didn't deserve it.
Hi, so today I'm going to be documenting the world of mental health nursing institutions. Over the past few years, there has been numerous reports on the sudden rise in the deaths in these mental homes. So I'm going to try and dig deep and discover exactly what is going on in these homes. I will have an interview with my client who has been previously in a mental health institution. He has been recently released, so I think it's time I had a sit down and talked through with him exactly what his experience was like and how he was treated and felt in this situation. So let's go have a look see, shall we? So let's take it back to 6 months ago down the line. I understand you were put in a mental institution. Can you tell me what happened exactly?
Yeah, of course. Glad to have someone finally listen to me. The official reason was that I'd caused a major disturbance at my family's house. But I feel there's a lot more to tell about the story than just that. It started way back between my relationship with my dad and my mom and my brother as well. Because they never thought I was a good influence on my little brother, but he's been my oldest friend, to be honest. I've lived my whole life with him, and I feel he's a very important part of my life. And when they told me I couldn't see him, it made my blood boil. And one day I'd had enough, and I'd said, I'm gonna see him, I'm just gonna see him. And I came over when I thought my parents weren't there, and then they said they wouldn't let me in. So I forced myself in, and I trashed the place just out of anger because I felt so restrained in what I could and couldn't do. A couple of weeks down the line after that, I had some people knock on my door, and they took me to a mental institute, and from there things went pretty terribly, if I'm honest.
When you were put in a mental institution, what did they physically restrain you, or did you what?
Yeah, a couple of times when it was completely uncalled for, if I'm honest. Because I think they must have known I had been put in for a violent reason. Any time that I seemed to get slightly agitated, they'd come up to me, they'd restrain me as quick as they possibly could. I've been given sedatives a couple of times, even when I don't think I was that angry at all, but for some reason they thought it was necessary.
So this was at the point when they came to collect you from your own home, I understand, yeah?
Well, they came over to my house, and I was kind of a bit confused when they did come over, and they restrained me then, but it was a lot. I didn't really know what was happening, so it wasn't that big an incident, I thought initially, but back at the home, at the institute, they restrained me as well a couple of times.
Okay, I see. And when you were in the institution, how were you treated? Did you feel like you were an outsider? Because I imagine there's other people in there who have been sectioned under the Mental Health Act. As you say yourself, you feel you didn't deserve to be there. So when you were in the home, did you get on with anyone? Did you feel isolated? How did you feel?
Yeah, I definitely felt isolated. I felt as if I've been put in the same kind of box as genuine lunatics who committed things far worse than I'd ever done, who were far more mentally unstable than me. And I honestly, it put me in a dark place because that just added towards the isolation feeling. And
do you in some sense feel sorry for these people, seeing how they are?
Yeah, definitely. I did feel sorry for them, but I also felt very sorry for myself. To be honest, I kind of thought about, I had a lot of time there to just think about myself and think about what happened, and I feel like that's one part they don't show you about, show you in TV, just how bored and isolated you can get, in that being stuck with your own thoughts can really mess with your head.
Do you regret smashing up the place? Do you regret, being in that situation? Because if that didn't happen, perhaps you would have gone into the mental home in the first place. So do you regret what you did, or do you feel it was justified?
At the time I thought it was justified, but I definitely regret it because, not that I care that much, but it made my relationship with my family, with my parents worse. But now they won't, now they won't even reply to me, so I don't have any kind of way of reaching to my brother. And it led to me being put in a mental institution, which just kind of made everyone think differently about me afterwards. So I feel like it added a lot of societal kind of pressure on me.
I see. And while you were in the institution, did you at any point start to doubt yourself, start thinking, have I got a mental health problem? Or did you always believe and, know to yourself that you are perfectly stable, you shouldn't be here? Or was there any point you started to doubt yourself?
I think there was a bit of doubt that crept towards me. I mean, if you think about it, a completely crazy person doesn't know that they're completely crazy. And that thought had crossed my mind a couple of times, but I would kind of think about what I'd done, I'd reflect on my kind of communication with other people, and kind of in my heart kind of thing, I just felt that there's no way I could have actually been that crazy at all. I definitely think I'm sane. To be honest, I don't think the experience in the mental institute helped my mental health at all. Possibly even made it a bit worse.
Oh, okay.
But that's
Why do you say that?
Well, I feel it made me lose a sense of trust towards other people, and it's made me think, since I've come out, it made me think that anyone I talked to thought I was crazy, which just isn't a good thought to have, really.
Okay. Let's talk more about your time in the institution itself, because if I'm not sure if you know, but there has been some television programs. For example, back in February this year on BBC One, there was a panorama program. It was called Britain's Mental Health Crisis, and this program it investigated the unexpected rise in deaths, which is pretty bad. So there was a rise of deaths of mental health patients who are in these institutions, and this can be for various reasons. It can be through depression or suicide, or perhaps even actual physical abuse from nurses, which can lead to death. How were you yourself treated by the nurses in the institution you were? Is there any insight you can give to us to know how are patients treated? Is there anything you saw or anything happened to you yourself?
Well, like I said, I had been restrained a couple of times, but I was never physically beaten or anything like that. I feel like physical abuse is not so much a thing there as much, but perhaps it's like mental abuse. The people who work there, I feel they kind of put on a fake smile for you, and this fakeness just kind of comes through to you, and you just feel like you're not talking to actual people anymore. And about the suicides, I never really came close, I don't think, but I'd say there were definite suicidal thoughts. like, because as I said, you don't really see on TV the kind of time you have alone with your thoughts, and that really makes your mind go to kind of a dark place, I feel.
Okay, so in regards to mental health institutions, do you think they are just a waste of time, really, or do you feel they may actually aid some people who genuinely, would need this help, or do you feel there is no compassion in this field, or do you feel it's a waste of time, or can it actually aid someone for the better? How do you personally feel?
I feel like it's the right idea because you obviously can't have completely crazy people running around doing crazy things. It just wouldn't work for society, I think. But I feel like it could be implemented a bit better. Like putting me in the same kind of facility as people with I think who are completely skits. It makes you doubt yourself, which I think in time just has completely the opposite of the intended effect. So I think, like I said, overall it's good. It's a necessary idea, but it needs to be refined and fixed.
So that was certainly an interesting interview I had with Mr. Rossi today. I have indeed gained some insights on how patients are treated in mental homes. What I've learned is that there is a strong, urgent need for love and compassion in situations like this, because if none of these are shown by the staff nurses, for example, this can lead to perhaps suicidal thoughts, or even aiding, in the unexpected rise of deaths in mental institutions, as we saw in the BBC One programme on Panorama back in February. So I feel if there's a lack of love and compassion shown by the staff nurses towards these patients who are already feeling low, then this can only end up with bad news. So compassion is needed in these homes. Thank you for watching today, and I hope to see you again soon.